Hello again, and welcome to another powerful, riveting, awful, horrible, horrifying episode of Unrestricted Invasion with myself, Brian O'Shea, and my fellow host, JJ Carroll. I want to talk a little bit today about lies, ADD, and conspiracy theories. So, first, lies. Um, Biden administration, pretty much everyone in DC, they lie. Okay. You're lying to yourself if you think they care one bit about you. I don't care who we're talking about, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. They don't care about you. And as long as you accept that our relationship with the leadership is a business relationship, you will go a lot further because then you can come down on them as you would in a business about lying and do your best to fire them. And you can also hold your other politicians to task as you would a consultant, where they have deliverables. You are paying them with taxes. This is the contract. You pay the taxes, they do the deliverables. Those deliverables in this particular case mean securing the goddamn border. They're not doing that. They all need to be fired. And we're going to do that at the polls, but you also need to do this in your communities at the county level and work your way up. And it's got to be your second full time job, as it is ours. Okay. The other thing is ADD. Now, artillery comes in many, many forms: air burst, ground burst, chemical, biological. Right now, we are getting a constant bombardment of what I like to call social media armaments, if you would. Um, we're getting hit with ADD bombs. So, what do I mean by that? Well, what we're watching happen is instead of people focusing on the problem, they're focusing on this problem, this problem. Just when they start saying, oh my God, the border looks pretty bad, all of a sudden they look over here. They're like, wait a minute, why is he saying the border looks really bad? Is he the deep state? Hey, who are you? You must be deep state if you're calling me deep state. Where's my phone? Oh, let me play a game of freaking Candy Crush or whatever they're playing now. And then all of a sudden you turn it on. It's like, oh, the State of the Union, Biden sucks. This guy's lying. Epstein had an island. It just keeps coming at you. So I'll say this: fight the ADD by focusing on pick three. Okay, pick three. All right, pick three topics and focus on them. A lot of people also, JJ, what was my third one? You're
I
part of
think you,
this.
no, I think you're at, look, what you just said, it's so truthful that it like put a light bulb in my head because I didn't think of it this terms the way you said it. Our relationship with politicians is not transactional. It is, I love him. I hate him. I think he's a liar.
Right.
You're absolutely correct. We need to start thinking in the terms of this is transactional. I'm paying you, I'm paying your salary, I'm paying you money to build my roads, to close my borders, to make sure our airports are safe and our law enforcement. Outside of that, I don't want anything else. And it's if we could
Thank
get
you.
into that, yeah, if we can get into that
Thank you.
mindset, Brian, that hey, I don't, I assume that you're a scumbag. I assume whatever you do in your private life or whatever, but I'm hiring you. Like when you hire your cable provider, do you care really, honestly, about anything else
No.
besides when I turn my
Nope.
TV on and
Nope.
my internet, does it work? Then shut up. That's what I want. And we need to talk to our politicians that way. I hired
Exactly.
you not for Ukraine. I hired you to secure the United States of America. And when we get into that
Exactly.
transactional mode, then everyone wins then. Everyone does.
It's true. And we'll explore on that in a second because I do got a good story to go with that, but I'll do that on the at the end because I know JJ, you have a big appointment you have to get to. So, um,
Yeah.
we wish you well with the fitting. Um, I think the tutu is going to look really nice.
I have my tutu and my Charlize. And my
Got your
skin, look
Charlize.
at your
Get
skin. Your skin is, I will say this, your skin is glowing. And I don't
thank you.
know if you should be using Charlize as a man.
Well, I'm actually. It's funny because I actually used it again today and I love it. And I've actually started hiding these things
Did you
from
steal
my
it from
wife.
Naomi? Yeah,
I
you
did, but you know
did,
what?
didn't you?
She stole my. I have these bison organ things, like these things, and now once there's one hiding. I don't know where. I want the trifecta. I don't want to take the liver and the organs separately. I want the trifecta, and I can't find it. I know damn well it's either in that Prius or it's in that Charlize bag over there. And I'm going to take a Charlize tax and maybe even a Heaven's Harvest tax, but we'll get
Whoa.
around to that in a second. But yes, no, JJ, you have an appointment, and we will respect your time, and it should go well. So,
So
but the
thank
other
you.
thing, I forgot what my third. You're welcome. I forgot what my third point was, but I'll add to this. So the ADD, you see that, right?
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and people unwittingly play into it. It's just so amazing that people are such suckers. Like just when people are like, "Hey, wait a minute." I don't think Hunter Biden's supposed to be selling drugs on a playground with a firearm and a couple of prostitutes, and Joe Biden sniffing those prostitutes' hair. I don't think he's. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's that? What's that shiny thing? What is it? Is that
Yep.
is that a spacecraft? What is that? What's happening here? Oh my gosh! And then where were we? Honestly, it's like going down. You watch people go down the rabbit hole, but then there's always a few of them unwittingly. They're like, I'm going to drill into this. And they start drilling into propaganda, distractive propaganda.
Yeah.
And then they connect everyone to it. I'm on a list, by the way. I'm deep state again. And
Are
as a
you?
I am deep state again. I'm back in, back in.
Good for
And
you.
as apparently Jason James is deep state too. He's Canadian deep state. Um, and and I called him out because in the background of his podcast, he had some deep state accessories. Oh, they look like teddy bears, but we know they're deep state. But the good news is in the deep state, we have the best coffee. And
Yeah.
so I can't wait till your membership goes through. It'll be awesome. Right now, right now you're in the waste level state, but you'll get to
Yeah.
the deep end pretty soon.
I
It's
can't I
free
can't wait
coffee, great
because
accessories.
yeah, I can't wait to hate America and undermine her and try to
Well,
destroy her.
it's not
I
that you
can't
hate
wait.
anything, you just care about money. And oh, in the deep state too, you have to care about controlling people, not for any particular purpose, just to control them. Now, anyone who's ever had employees, you know that you never want to control people unless there's profitability because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Um, but, anyways, moving on, what I did want to say is this creates this forgetfulness. And it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that what we have on, let's just say, the non-Biden side of the political aisle, you got people going back and forth saying, "Yeah, but Trump was there when the vaccines came out." It's like, hey, you dummies. If you recall, Pfizer held back the vaccine until Biden stole the election,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Yeah, but he was there for lockdowns." Like, hey, you non-researching knuckle draggers. No, he actually left it to the states. And so
Yeah.
these people are either working for another campaign or they just want to be the person that gets the big reveal. And the sad thing is, they want the big reveal on anything. And what they
Yep.
don't understand, man, this is like Game of Thrones. Have you ever seen Game of Thrones?
Yep. Very good
Okay, so
show.
you got the five kingdoms. You got the five kingdoms. That's represented in this country by the RFK camp, the Trump camp, and the Biden camp. Okay, they're all wanting the throne. Trump is the only one that deserves the throne, but they're all going back and forth. And I kind of see it as like Trump is kind of like the only one that knows how to swing a sword of all of them.
Mhm.
Okay, and the people that know better, they're like, let's just get him on the throne. Got freaking White Walkers coming. They swallow up everyone, turn them into zombie army, and they just keep multiplying. Like, can
Yeah.
we just deal with this later and get the guy up there that can fight it? And they're like, well, I would, but he said in 1996 that he didn't like fighting. And it's like, no, they're coming.
They're coming.
They're coming and they are going to kill us all. Well, that's what's happening. And when I look at it, I've got to say, man, this sounds really crazy, but it is one of the classic tactics of strategic covert influence. You're not only trying to get people to believe a certain thing, for the people you can't get to believe anything, you just wanted to distract the hell out of them.
Hmm.
And you can, and I even want to experiment it with it for the people that are unsavable in terms of common sense. I just want to drop like a red herring out there that looks really official, put like a classified stamp on it, drop it off at like a truck stop or something, or at the Rotary Club. and
Yeah.
just see how far that goes. That'd be hilarious. Anyways, so that's what's happening. What is my point of all this? Stay focused. We're at
Mhm.
war. Stay focused. There's a reason why infantry and soldiers only know as much as they need to know at a certain level. There's a reason why commanders turned down this technology that was supposed to give every soldier on the ground like an omniscient view of the battlefield. The
Nope.
commanders on the ground said, no,
Nope.
no. Just like, and JJ, you had that, right? Like you
Mhm.
assign sectors and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because you hand out stuff to people that look. I need you to. Here's the big overarching. We want to win the war, right? We want to secure the border.
Mhm.
I need you to focus on this area, and here's your equipment and manpower. I trust you. You're empowered. Lock it down. Do they need to know that I'm surveilling wiretaps and I have undercover guys around? No, no, they don't. They just don't. You need to be focused on this. My undercover UC guys are going to be handle other stuff. They're worried. They're wondering who's going to come in the area. We'll take the bad guys out as they come into the area.
Yeah,
Yeah, you need to wall people off to an extent.
exactly.
You do.
And I wish I could, it's a plea to all of them. Because look, I'll give these people that say everyone's deep state, I will give them some credit. They're on video every day. And if we could just redirect that energy and that focus in the right direction, that'd be great. I mean, honestly, it's like what it feels like to me. It feels like I'm in a foxhole, covering my sector of fire between my sector stakes.
Yep.
You know what those are? Okay,
Yep.
so I only fire between those sectors. I'm focused on those. That's the border. That's China. That's it. China, border, my sectors. I don't care what's going on with Bill Gates. I don't care what's happening with politics. These are our sectors.
Yep.
Okay. But you know what it feels like? I feel like I have my little brother in the foxhole with me, and he keeps poking me with a needle. And I'm like, stop, dude, dude, I stop it. Go.
Yep.
Can't you go somewhere else? Someone else got room in their foxhole. Can Jesus? Now there's two of them, and they're just poking me with shit, and they're like pulling my ears, and it's terrible. It's not a showstopper. It's just annoying, and
Yep.
it's a waste. These people do. I think they have the requisite IQs to be good researchers. They're not putting out good research because it's on source, but their focus is amazing and their commitment is amazing, which tells me they're unwitting dupes. I think they actually believe this stuff. But if we could just refocus them, and you know what, I'll make a promise to them after the imminent threats are eliminated and we get someone in the White House that can at least, at a minimum, be a fire break over these next 4 years,
Mhm.
then by all means attack away. But can we just ensure our own survival first before we go
Yep.
back to your little reindeer games? That would be really nice. So that's where we're at. Stay focused. And speaking of that focus, JJ, you've done some research. You've been following these planes and these illegal aliens coming into the country. And of course, everyone has us focused on the southern border. JJ, by the way, for those who didn't read his bio, 24-year border agent, deputy agent in charge in San Diego sector.
Yep.
Okay, for 24 years, this is what this man did. He has wrestled with them. He arrested 50 guys at once, one time, which is amazing. And he's been there, done that, and he understands the entire politics of it as he had to in a supervisory position. And so he understands it by starting at the ground in the CBD and working his way up through the chain to achieve a pretty senior rank. Just retired. We're lucky to have him and his knowledge. JJ, where else should we be focused?
Well, everyone's focused on the southern border, as you said, and everybody shiny object, right? Oh, look, here's another 5,000 cross at Del Rio, and Venezuelans are crossing in Jacumbo with the Chinese, and everyone's like, oh my God, oh my God. But you're right. What are they, when they're showing that shiny object, what in the hell are they doing in the dark at night? Well, come to find out, let's go back to June and July. You and I started doing this in September together, and we started talking about this actually in September. June and July numbers, the data, the arrest data, had an
Mm-hmm.
anomaly. It was 50 to 60,000 light in June and July, and everyone's like, and especially me, in the summer months is it's a high months. They're not low, like December, January is a low month, and now we're starting to see us skyrocket into March and April and into summer. And everyone was like, This doesn't make any sense. And at the same time, unbeknownst to many people, Center for Immigration Studies, CIS.org, did a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act, to the government and actually got it back in July, where the government admitted, yeah, that arrest data is not correct because we did not count the 221,000 illegal aliens that we flew from outside the country into America. Not so
But when you say when you say we, sorry, when you say we, like we, I mean, are they we? I'm assuming you're meaning the Biden administration. Are we talking like the military flew them in, or who's flying these people?
Well, that's a great question because there's a guy named Monkey. His podcast called Monkey Works, and he follows airplanes domestically and international airplanes into America and where they go domestically. And nobody disputes him. He has all the software and the talent, and he knows what he's talking about. He made a video in December on Swift Air. Swift Air is run or owned under the umbrella of iAero. Okay. Why is this important to say, well, who they under the umbrella for? Well, because Swift Air has gone through multiple sales, multiple bankruptcies, and now all of a sudden Swift Air has $15 million a year contract with the U.S. government. That's interesting. Well, what does that look like in terms of flights? Well, Monkey Works tracked Swift Air flying international flights into. Have you ever heard of Swift Air? I didn't even know Swift Air existed.
I mean, I've heard of Swift 50s, but that's about it.
Yeah. So no one even, it's not like it's Delta Airlines, right? Swift Air is flying 737s that hold about 200 people each flight. Monkey Works tracked 7,280 flights in 1 year.
Is this?
He believes it's 1.4 million people that they flew in, they being the United States government, flew in, contracted through one airline, not the other ones, which they use, America, Delta, everyone, but just one, 1.4 million illegal aliens brought in. And then as I talk about this, I get the pushback. Well, that's a big difference between 1.4 and now Biden administration has admitted. DailyMail.com did this article 3 days ago and said Biden administration admits to 331,000 illegal aliens they've flown in. So, Brian, my argument is, are you telling me the government that lies to us repeatedly and got caught in a lie in June and July continued the same activities in that lie to present day? And are you telling me that you believe that's the only amount of illegal aliens they brought in the dark at night is 331,000? Or is it closer to the 1.4 to 2 million? These are numbers, Brian, they did not put in the data, meaning when you look at Southwest Border Apps or the National Border Apps in 2023 was 3.2 million and change. Well, they should have added another 1.4 million to that, Brian. It should be 4.6 or 4.7 million. That's a big difference, Brian.
Let's do some.
You and I talked a little bit off air. If this is what they are hiding from us and got caught, what else are they doing? It's like you're married and your spouse, you find out, has had a 4-month affair with some guy down the street. After you get through that initial shock that, my God, my wife's cheating on me, the very first thing that pops into your head is, oh my God, what else? If she's lying to me about that gigantic of a betrayal, what else is she doing? Oh my God, I should look at my finances. Oh my God, is this the only guy that she has slept with, or her husband has slept with?
Really good point, JJ.
So,
really good point. What do you so I mean, we're talking, they lied to us about the illegal aliens, the Biden administration. They lied to us about efficacy of vaccines, or even the safety of the vaccines, as it's turning out. So what do we have here? We've covered the border. Okay, they lied about the vaccines, demonstrated in the fact that the illegal aliens don't need them. They lied to us about the economy. All right. Lied to us about January 6th. And what was the other one?
The Ukraine war. Where they have proven that Boris Johnson and the Biden administration refused to allow Zelensky to make a peace deal with Putin 6 months into the war.
Yep.
They lied to us and said there's not biolabs. Oh, well, yeah, there are. There's like 17 to 22. Okay, is it 17 or 22? 5 is a big deal of biolabs. Did they just blow up? So is it 17, 22, or 100 biolabs on Russia's borders?
I
And
mean,
then we're shocked that Putin's like,
one vial from
yes.
a biolab is too much.
And what
Okay, so
else
we
have they
got
lied to us about, Brian? I mean,
all right, so we got economy, border. I'm on to something here. I think you know where I'm going. They lied to us. They also lied to us about the multiple attacks on HHS and the power grid from cyber attacks. They've lied to
yep.
us about that. They also lie by omission. Okay, and the media is directly part of this whole thing. They are as bad, and when the trials happen,
Mm-hmm.
they all need to be lined up as well. So they also lied about like they don't, but through by omission about I don't know that massive freaking Chinese base built on Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
They've lied. We know they're lying about what happened to Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law, which I cover in
Mm-hmm.
the other episode. I do have some great info, by the way. And I did look up the safety of Tesla, but we'll get into that. There's no way she either committed suicide, which I don't think that's the way people go. Typically, I mean,
Why would you
backing a
commit
car into a
suicide
pond.
by driving into a pond and dying
I mean,
underwater?
I'll pull up the statistics, but from what I remember in studying this in college, like types of death and everything, it's in my criminal justice work. From what I remember, men favor hanging and jumping off things and blowing their brains out. Women tend to like to do things where they still look, I'm going to get attacked by all the people after this, but they tend to favor things that allow them to still leave a pretty corpse.
Overdose,
Okay.
drugs,
Pills are the main
etc.
way.
Yep.
Pills and slicing wrists.
Okay, and then let's
Backing a
add to this. Yeah, backing a car into a lake. Yeah.
especially a Tesla, which you'd have to, someone would have to back it in because they have safety. They have safety features such as the car won't roll back; it'll stop. Um, and I actually I have the ranch. I have it. I figured out where
Do
it was.
you?
Yes, and
Is
I've got
this
imagery. I
something you
found the
posted already? Did you post this?
not yet,
This
not yet,
okay. That's
not
what
yet.
I thought. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't seen this. This is your solo show. Okay, I can't wait to see that.
Yep. And it just did some, I mean, just did some diligence, looking for things. And, you get a bunch of, you start everything by just watching a ton of news while
Yeah.
I'm eating because I can't type while I'm eating. And then I switch to reading. And then you're just looking for points of intersection. But I cover the methodology of research in the video because we're trying to be more instructive. But yeah, anyways, we'll go back to that. But yeah, and with the help of other citizen researchers out there. I can't take all the credit, but they're leads and they're good leads, and they've proven to be true. Anyways, so they lied about that. They lied about the lockdowns. They lied about the masks. They're lying constantly about every shooting that happens if they're not white men shooting. Okay, if they're white men, you hear all about it. There was
They lied
transparency.
about the 2020 election.
Lied
They
about
said
they're
there's no
lying about the
problems.
dangers, lying about the dangers of these trans surgeries and the chemicals
Yep.
that are required by people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Also lying about deployment of troops around the world. We have troops now in
Yes.
Syria, Somalia. Did you know
Yep.
that? Syria, Somalia,
Mm-hmm.
um,
What are they doing there?
and Georgia. Um, I don't know. I don't know why the hell we'd be in Somalia. Um, they Yeah, we could go on, but the point is we're covering every part of unrestricted warfare if you think about it,
Mm-hmm.
that we were talking about the other day. Cyber, um, regulatory, the laws, everything is being covered, and the enemy is the administration. The enemy
Mm-hmm.
is the administration, and they're carrying out the work of the our enemies by by doing that. Hold on, baby. It's really noisy. Sorry, we'll cut that part. What is that? 26:41. Thank you for breakfast. It looks lovely. But
Is that a heaven
so
harvest breakfast?
it's not a heaven's harvest because now I feel guilty about cooking it after you berated me about using it for emergencies. But I'm gonna eat it anyways because you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna order another one, and so
Good.
I'm gonna have my demo. I'm gonna have my unboxing one. So
Yeah.
I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that for lunch today because
All
it's
right.
gonna be
Sounds
good.
good.
Anyways, so they're lying about everything, but what's really scary about what you're saying? Well, you know what? Let's just play the video, and why don't you just look at it on your screen? We'll
Okay.
put it on the big screen, but why don't you play it from that timestamp and just explain to us what you're seeing?
The monkey works, right? That's what you're talking about. We're watching that monkey works video. So,
Yeah, and just
yeah,
JJ, just so you know, 27:38. I'll cut this part out, but what you're gonna do is explain it as if it's on the screen and
yeah.
everyone can see it because then Duncan can put it up on the
Okay.
screen.
All right. Sounds
Okay,
good. Let's go.
go.
Okay. So, what you're looking at, guys, is Monkey Works is talking about the number of flights, and he's using like a green line, right? You've seen this. You kind of follow the plane and it lands. Where does it land? He did this 7,280 times. And when you look at it, you have to ask yourself a question. They can't be landing all in international airports. They look like they're landing in regional airports as well. And the question is why? Why are you landing planes in regional airports in the middle of the night? Well, the answer is nobody can see it. I can drive a bus onto the tarmac in a regional airport, pack up all the illegal aliens, and then drive them away, and nobody even knows they landed. The plane takes off. Nobody has an idea what just happened at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm,
That is
that's true.
what he's talking about.
And there's also a lot of the cities like Chicago, they all have now they have you can get fines if you drive these buses in. Like they will impound the bus
Yep.
now because the cities that said, hey, enough is enough, and they didn't stop. So like Chicago's an example. And what do the and it's these charities that are working as cat's paws of the government, who are like, okay, let's go to the suburbs. And JJ, we called that. We called it
Yep.
back in October. We said suburbs. This 2024 will be the year of the suburbs invasion. It's happening.
It
And
is
I've got
happening.
some video from my own suburb showing it's happening. And I will post that towards the end of this video. And
It,
look, the only silver lining here is we were talking about this last night on a space I was a guest speaker on, talking about propaganda and conspiracy theories. Someone asked me a great question. They said, what does it take? What does it take to wake people up that aren't awake yet? I said, usually it takes them seeing it or it affecting them directly. People
yeah.
by nature are mainly selfish. That's how we survive. We take care of what's closest to us first.
Right.
Okay. And not everyone even has the information. Believe it or not, there's very well educated people who are just busy in places I go in Brooklyn and the arts. And, I know
Yeah.
a few screenwriters and stuff, and they have no idea. Like, they have no idea that Biden's like senile. They have no idea about Hunter Biden. They don't know because the
That's
only thing
unbelievable.
available to them. Well, if you go into the bodegas now in like the poorer parts of Brooklyn and in the Bronx and Queens, they don't sell newspapers anymore. Like, not that the newspapers would give them the truth, but you can
Right.
at least compare the New York Times to the New York Post and see the disparities.
Yeah.
One's nothing but lies. One is, 80% accurate, as
Yeah.
for the most part. Um, you can't. I went in and I was down on Flatbush the other day, and I said, "Can I get a newspaper?" And they're like, "We don't sell newspapers." I'm like, "You don't sell newspapers?" Okay, so then I went further down, and the further down you go, ironically, towards Floyd Bennett Field, where that
Hmm.
um, illegal alien
Yep.
paramilitary mercenary camp is, the further down you go towards that area, the poorer it gets. But when you get to the poorer areas, predominantly predominantly Black Americans, mainly from Haiti and Jamaica, like who've been here for a long
Right.
time, working class people, um, real citizens, people that use the
Yeah.
process that came in the right way,
Yeah.
and they're pissed. But you go down, and then you find these newsstands, okay, and the newsstands have nothing but propaganda papers,
Mhm.
like Black American and all this, and they're all Democrat controlled papers.
Yeah.
And when you read, I picked a few up because I like to read the messaging, and they're right next to the New York Times. And you'll see the headlines of these things will mirror what's on the New York Times. And that's the only news source you can get unless you go online and know how to dig.
Yeah.
The only paper you can get there that is actually a paper I recommend is the Epic Times. But guess what, JJ? The only version they have is in Chinese
Chinese. Yep.
in
Isn't
all
that
of Brooklyn.
crazy?
It's unbelievable. That's why every American has to do this and share these videos and go out and be the annoying person like you're going to be today when you get to your meeting, to the point. I mean, your goal should be to get kicked out of every place you go in because all you're talking about is the truth. Anyways, go
That's
ahead. You were
it.
explaining the video. I'm seeing right now, you can see all of these lines almost descending down on the United States like rain. This
Yeah.
map I'm looking at.
And
And you're right.
if you
So
listen, yeah, if you listen to what Monkey Works says in this video too, and I didn't catch it till I watched it again. He said, I stopped tracking. It was so overwhelming. I stopped tracking. So he's saying that he tracked almost 7,300 flights, but there were more, Brian. He said,
yeah.
I can't, I just had to stop. So America, I want you to understand, you are being assaulted by an invasion that they're showing you on the southern border. They're showing you nothing on the northern border, nothing on the coast. The coastlines are being invaded in Florida and Southern California. And now we're finding out they are flying illegal aliens into America from foreign nations. So in the dark of night and not counting that data. And then let's go all the way to the end as I have to leave. The final question that needs to be asked every single time is why? Why would your federal government lie to you and bring in millions and millions of people and then bring in another subgroup of millions of people and not tell you? Do you think that this is beneficial to America? Let me put it a different way, Brian. If I was coming to you and I wanted to do something bad, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to hide it. If I'm bringing you joy and glad tidings, Brian, I'm coming in your front door and I'm making a spectacle of it. Brian,
Hmm.
I've made so much money. I'm giving you $1 million, Brian. I'm not going to hide it from you. So the government hides what they're doing. Why would they hide what they're doing if it was good for you?
Well, yeah, and I agree with you. And just like a slightly different theory that I can't, yeah, it's a theory. So yours could be right,
Yeah.
mine could be right. And I was just thinking about this while you were talking. Here's what I think, because let's face the facts. The people in office, except for Mayorkas, Becerra, they're pretty smart guys. But Biden is a bumbling idiot.
Yes.
Kamala's an idiot. At least Biden can blame senility. Kamala's just plain stupid. And so I just don't see a lot of IQ in the current administration. Here's what I think, and this would play right into the fact that, remember, Biden was like, "What are we worried about China for? We'll eat their lunch." He probably believed that. Okay, and that's a combination of Western hubris, not believing that the Chinese could be smarter than us, um, which is stupid because they've been a civilization for much longer than us
Yep.
and have dealt with a lot more than us. Um, I think a deal was made, right,
Yep.
between Venezuela and a lot of these countries in South America, with China kind of nodding their head and guiding this deal where, okay, we're going to make sure this many illegals come into the United States. Joe, you're going to keep that border open until we reach this amount. Then we'll cut it off, and that should get you, enough mayhem and votes to win, but also to, increase the federal budget for the FBI and federal law enforcement, because this overwhelming surge will show that states aren't equipped to handle this. That way, you can increase the federal power of policing. Um, you might even get another pandemic out of it. That's why we're not going to vaccinate anyone. They're going to bring something in, and then you can lock people down again just in time for the elections to ensure those mail-in ballots, because Mike Lindell is taking out those mail-in ballots systematically. Um, and then what else we got, Joe? Oh yeah. And then, oh, you know what? Why don't you do this? Why don't you tell the people that you're giving them these $5,000 gift cards, but really they're going to be untraceable. So your NGOs can take those gift cards and feed them right back into into the DNC to fund
Yep.
all your PACs. And the good thing about that is if you don't win, you still get to keep the money in the PAC. You donate it to yourself or you pay it out as a salary, as you are now the CEO of that NGO. So we got all that. And Joe's like, yeah, this is really good. And Kamala's like, what? Huh? And we're like, okay, never mind, Kamala. Just go look at the squirrels. Okay. And then
It's true.
suddenly, like, they hit let's say the limit was 5 million. So it's 5 million. Joe's like, okay, hey guys, so thanks, they're all here. So you could stop sending them now. And they're like, what? Nah, now we
No,
changed our
we're
mind.
sending.
What do you
Yep.
mean? No, we're going to send more. You better stop. What are you going to do, Joe? What are you going to do? You've isolated yourself. You have no
You,
friends. We're
you
switching
can't
to the
even walk.
Petro Yuan.
Yeah.
China over there, you know, they're they're with us. They're good. You're gonna do whatever they say anyways, because the shit they got on video of you and your son at those crazy
Mhm.
houses you used to frequent in Beijing. Yeah. Okay. Oh, do you want to tell the American people about the bioweapons that you set up in Ukraine and the fact that we're only in there because it's a massive laundering scheme? Remember, Joe, the Chinese, 1,000 grains of sand, they collect and retain everything. So that's what I think happened. Is I think they made an unholy alliance with other devils, and the other devils said, just like always happens, there's always a double cross. They said, we're not shutting off anything. We're going to
Nope,
keep
because
them
I
coming
own
because
you.
this is our chance to take you out, you suckers. And now
Yep.
we're all dealing with it. I think that would explain the fracturing you're seeing in the media, in the Democratic Party, at the state level to the federal level. You've got some states saying, hey, this is BS. You got other states saying, no, this is great. There's just no the unity that we saw with this neo-Marxist DNC and their rhino useful idiots seems to be gone. It seems to be a bit of a 18 ring circus. Like, it's almost like the animals have taken over the petting zoo, and they're locking the humans up inside. It's gone crazy. I think they lost control of this, and that's what they're trying to hide, because it's an election year.
Mhm.
And if they say, hey, by the way, we kind of screwed up, made a deal to win the votes, and well, now we're being invaded. So vote for us. They're not going to do that. They're screwed. And also, if they say that to especially people like me, people like you, responsible gun owning, legal gun owners, we're going into battle mode. We're going to be like, lock down the
Yep.
house, double the wall guards, seal the gate, shoot anything that moves. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if we're invaded, we're invaded. And Joe can't go to the Saudis because, as you may recall, he called the crown prince a murderer.
And they
Can't
told
go to
him, you
them.
want more oil? Go pound sand, Joe. We had American
Mhm.
president bowing
Yeah.
down to the Saudis. Look, man, you carry the rest of this podcast, talk about these important topics. I gotta go. I will be back next week. But man, every time I leave for the weekend, I think, well, it can't. This will be okay. Well, at least we'll maintain this insanity, and then we get to a new level of corruption, a new level of maliciousness, new level of
Yep.
deceit. But I think podcasts like this and ones that we go on, I know you go on multiple a week as I do. This is the new
Mhm.
medium. This is the new media. This is how people get their information. So that's where we're winning. They can't control this. They can't stop it.
They can't. And we are winning, because
We
look at the
are.
victories Trump has had. Look at the victories the Supreme Court has done pushing back. Supreme Court knows that if the Democrats get their way, there will be no Supreme Court.
Yep.
There will be no executive branch. They only want the legislative branch. That's what they're aiming for, because that is the ultimate goal of a bureaucratic state. They don't want anyone above them.
Tyranny.
So,
All right.
um,
All right,
well,
brother. Thanks for holding the fort down. I'll see you next week. Okay.
you got it, JJ. We'll see you next week,
All
and
right, brother. Thank you.
good luck, man. I hope you
Thank
get into the
you.
Rotary Club.
I will.
Good.
Trying hard.
So, anyways, really good points that JJ is making. And it is, when you see this happening, look, I don't know if these are the answers. And as my commanders in the military would say, who cares? Like, why are you telling me this? Well, here's why you need to know. You need to know this because if I'm right, and I'm pretty sure I'm right, I'm pretty sure JJ's right. You see the people coming through the border. If you don't see them, you better, you know, or if people haven't seen them around you, you better keep them informed because keep in mind in places like Massachusetts, you have Governor Healy over there saying, hey, can you take these, as they call them, migrants into your homes because we don't have enough housing? And they're playing on the albeit naive but good nature of kind of a lot of the Massachusetts residents in this case. And they're some of these people are saying, yeah, sure, send them over here. One couple said, send them over here. An hour later, there were 8 people at their door, and they had to scramble to put them in their home. You don't know who you're putting in your home. I mean, I've had rentals, and we have, and the due diligence I run on just renters is pretty extensive. You're just gonna let people sleep under your roof that you just met that don't even speak your language. You don't know who they are. They could be anyone. They can murder you in your sleep. You just don't know, or rob you blind. Okay. Or do nothing except eat all your food and never leave and eventually force you out of your own home. Whatever the point, it's not good for the people. And so people need to know the danger of this so they don't stupidly say, hey, yeah, have them come over here. This look really good to the neighbors. They'll see how good we are. No, you're just looking stupid. You're just looking stupid. Lock your doors. Don't take in any of these illegals. I know people put up the sad pictures of the kids and all that. Don't do it. Okay. Do not do it. And learn. And when you learn and when you learn the dangers of what's happening in this country right now, as JJ just really in an excellent way laid out, act accordingly. I'm not saying go out and go all Mad Max on people, but start taking your home security seriously. Start taking your personal security seriously and keep an eye on what's happening in your schools. I'm not just talking about DEI nonsense. I'm talking about, are these illegals being pushed into your middle schools and your high schools? Because that's when it gets really dangerous. Okay, when these kids are fighting and you don't know, your kid could end up dead, and we've seen it happen. Okay, and start learning your laws if you don't know them, so you can find a way to sue the hell out of these local governments, um, that are complicit in things like the murder we saw in Georgia of the medical student. Okay, I want people to share with me, or at least tell me, please tell me someone is pursuing the University of Georgia for violations of Title IX and that their federal funding is going to get pulled, because Title IX allows universities to take government funding in return for providing a safe and lucrative environment, and comfortable environment for students to learn, so they're not distracted about possible dangers to their physical selves. To me, this seems like an open and shut violation of Title IX because it did happen on campus grounds. Um, those kind of things, those are battles. Each one of those are a battle, and we've got to fight every single one of them. Not every battle is cool, not every battle is sexy, but you lawyers get out there and sue every government level that is violating constitutional rights. Netizens, don't worry, call out the politicians, of course, but you know what? Call out the journalists. You want to do an investigative hit piece? Do it on the investigative journalists that's lying, because they sit back and they like to throw these bombs in and into the pool and then sit back and watch the sparks fly. Why not start a new thing where we investigative journalists, and I've started doing this. I did this through the pandemic and it works. Don't investigate the politician. Everyone's already doing that. Investigate the journalist. Okay. Do the expose on the journalist. Call the journalist home. Ask them if they'd like to leave a comment before you publish. Let them know what it feels like to be on the other end of their pen now that you're holding it, because all of you can do this. Okay. All of you can do this. And there's so many great, great, great citizen journalists have just emerged from this. I could go on. I'm not going to. I would like to say a couple things. First of all, um, JJ's right. I actually have been using the Charlize products. These are really amazing uh, health and beauty products for your skin. Now, um, this company really believes in what they're doing, and we're inspired by losing people, you know, close to them and through skin cancer and stuff like that. And it set them on a journey to figure out, okay, how can we make not just beauty products, but things to that can help people's skin be better and make them beautiful and make them healthier. Your skin is an organ, so the healthier skin, the better you're going to do. Your skin breathes. If you ever saw 007 Goldfinger, they spray painted the girl with lead-based gold paint, and she suffocated because that's what happens. Your skin cools you off. If it's not working properly, you're not going to work properly, um, and you're not going to feel good, and you're not going to have the mental acuity because you're just going to feel like crap. And what I really like about these products, I actually, he's not lying. I've been using them, and I was like, huh, and okay, this is pretty good because I'm not a great sleeper. Sometimes I have like lines under my eyes and I just don't really look and feel that good. But there's something when I try the different products, and I would show you the product here, but yet again, my wife discovered my hiding place, and now she has custody of our Charlize products, so I will steal those back. Anyways, I tried. There is a men's line actually coming out, and I want to say I inspired that. Maybe I didn't, but everyone, be this is healthy inside and out. We have products that we promote for your internal health, and for your emergency health, and this is for your outside health, your who you are. And how you feel is how you look and how you transmit your thoughts to the world, and hopefully those thoughts are good thoughts. And if you're feeling good and looking good, I really believe you're going to be promoting solutions to the world rather than doom and gloom, or lack thereof. So Charlize, get it today. We have 25% discount if you do use the promotion code at checkout, unrestricted. Get these products. And men, look, I'm telling you, I'm not saying you got to use them. A lot of men are like, what is wrong with this guy? Just so you know, I'm a man's man. I'm an act, I'm a disabled combat veteran. It's just, but let me tell you something. One thing I loved about special forces is those dudes all appreciated, like, you know a good manicure and like to look their best. And so that's where I learned a lot of this, and so it's right up my alley. But there's, who wants bad skin? I mean, who wants bad skin? So that's why I'm glad a men's line is coming out. And it's important to note that the products you buy in the store are they could have 49% worth of contaminants in them, okay, or toxins, and still be called non-toxic. Did you know that? I mean, 49%, let me say it again, 49% of a product can be toxins. As long as it's under 50%, it can be called non-toxic. Well, not Charlize's products. They're all natural. None of that stuff is in there. Uh, just, there you see on the website, all of that information, and they you want to be one of those customers that cares, okay, enough to not get cancer from the products you're using, to not get sick from the products you're using. You're not going to get it with these. They also last a lot longer too. That's what I find, because they don't play that game of making you take too much so you can use it up and buy more. No, it's one of the most responsible and one of my new favorite companies. I'm not gonna lie to you. And so there, Charlize, I'm rambling on. Charlize, and type in unrestricted for the code, and yeah, send me your results if you want. Any brave souls out there, you want to send me your before and after results with Charlize products, do so. And you know what? I will find some way to reward you. I can't promise what that is now. Um, Who knows? Maybe I'll send you one of my spy cameras or something, but I'll do something for you. Anyways, the other thing I want to talk about as well, we're talking about health on the inside, is the wellness company. Okay. We are big supporters of the wellness company. I know most of the doctors on their medical board. I've had the pleasure of meeting their CEO and some of their senior officers. What a great company. And they're just doing it right. And of course, they're getting attacked by the, Pfizer and disguisers, because Pfizer wants every solution to be mRNA. What I like about the wellness company is you don't have to, you got your medical emergency kits, you got your travel kits, you even got your different kits for different situations, just like you would have. I mean, consider it like some of these products that we promote. I consider it like a better version of a first aid kit that everyone should have, anyways. I had someone say to me the other day, they're like, "Yeah, but do you really need that?" I'm like, "I don't need it right now, but I don't want to need it and not have it." That's just common sense. What I also like about the emergency kit is a lot of the stuff in there is stuff we used to deploy with to Southeast Asia to keep ourselves from getting um, like malaria and yellow fever and Japanese encephalitis. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in there. My favorite thing, especially that I'm in the Hudson Valley in New York, which is like tick central. My favorite thing in there is the doxycycline, because do you know I get ticks on me all the time. They carry Lyme disease, and that you cannot be cured from Lyme disease, and it just eventually just debilitates you. We had a carpenter get it. It's just horrible, and I'm so terrified of Lyme disease that my only solution, because it takes too long to get a prescription up until I found the wellness company, my only solution is I used to wear a full body suit like the ones on Halloween with the mask, and then I put that underneath my coveralls just to mow the lawn and cut down the shrubs. We're in a pretty dense area, because, and even that I'd look and I'd have like 15 ticks on me. Thank God I couldn't get bit, but I can't do that all the time. It is hot, as uncomfortable. It's silly. So when I found the wellness company, like boom, everything I need. I get bit by a tick. I take my doxycycline. As long as it's within 48 hours, I'm going to be good. Call the company, get a refill if I need it. Um, Priced accordingly. The it's pretty much market prices for everything. And they have other products too. They have great instruction books, tell you exactly how to use it. They are opening up a telehealth type service. So yeah, I'm down with the wellness company. I like them, and I kind of see them as leading the way in the parallel economy. Okay, leading the way. You're, and that's what we need. Okay, so we have all natural Charlize products. We have responsible parallel economy, medical economy, wellness company, and then the other one that I really like, and JJ makes fun of me a lot. I haven't done the unboxing. Is Heaven's Harvest. Heaven's Harvest, you get 10% when you type in the code unrestricted. 10%, by the way, if you type in the code unrestricted for the wellness company as well. But with Heaven's Harvest, man, I have eaten a lot of my emergency food. He's guilted me into not opening up my protein bucket. Um, I am gonna do it. I'm gonna do an unboxing. I'm gonna film it. You're all gonna get to see it. And yeah, I haven't tried the protein pack yet, but everything else has been delicious. And this is like stable food that lasts forever, forever. And it so far so good on the taste. And I know I used to eat MREs in the army and they're okay, but they weren't great. This stuff tastes like normal food. Some of it's a little better than food you'd get. And you know what's nice about this is it's all really organic. You don't got to worry about any mRNA nonsense in there, or anything else they're trying to put in food these days. And that's why I like it the most. I mean, if for anything else, let's say there's never an all out emergency, I'm glad I got food for years, and I know there's nothing in it, because if these fools win in 2024 by stealing the election again, meaning Biden, if they win again, God knows what a fruit supply is going to look like. God only knows what it's going to look like. I'd rather have my own choices, not have to be waiting in the food line or worry that the steak I got is going to make me grow a third arm. I've got Heaven's Harvest. I know it's natural. I know it's delicious. I've got a big variety of it. And if you're on a budget, they do have subscription plans. These work really well for people. Check it all out. Heavensharvest.com. 10% off when you type in the code unrestricted. And when you do your unboxings, send them to me and JJ. Send them to us. You could just send it to DailyClout, JJ Carrell, Carrell at dailyclout.io, India Oscar, and Brian at dailyclout.io, BRI with an as in India, AN, Brian at dailyclout.io. So those are affiliate sponsors. We really like them. We don't promote anything on this show that we don't use, have tried, or like. If you have other products that you would like us to take a peek at, if you're a vendor, or you are a new business and you stand for freedom and you stand for America and you have a product that you think can help people, by all means, email it to us. Send us your, what you have on it, where you sell it, and everything like that. And we'll give it a try. We'll give it a try. And if it's something you'd like us to promote, we're happy to, and we'll talk to you about that. But we'd have to see it first, because there are a lot of good products out there that people don't know about. And so we want to hear from you as well. And look, to all the listeners out there, don't ever lose hope. If the news is all bad, the worse the news is, like we've been saying, and yes, we do a lot of gloom and doom here, but we also try to give you solutions and transparency. That's our real point. We're not trying to depress you. And we always try to give you solutions. But what I will say is this: I have experience, which I can't get into, that involves a lot of high level propaganda reaching a massive audience. Okay. And I can tell you this, you could put your money on it. Unfortunately, it's the one time I cannot provide you a source. You just have to take my word for it that I know what I'm talking about from experience, from a lot of experience. Um, when you start seeing tons of bad news, you start seeing all this bad news about the state of the world, it almost feels like you're losing. That's what the bad guys want you to feel, because that's what makes you give up. If you think, oh, all is lost, I'll just give up, boy, you're going to feel silly when you look around the corner and realize, oh man, we won and I gave up. Or we could have won, but I gave up. Don't give up. The worse the news is, it's probably better for us. The worse the legacy media is putting out there, the worse the headlines are. That means we're winning, because we are winning. We're winning because, not because me and JJ, we're winning because the people like you in this audience who go out and do things, who find your battles that you can fight, and you fight them. Okay, you don't talk about it. You don't just tweet about it. You actually do it. And there's a lot of you out there. I'm super proud to know you. I'm one of those people. My wife is one of those people. JJ is one of those people. Lots of you are those people. We celebrate you and we salute you and we honor you, and we are awed and inspired by you. So keep doing it. I want to give a shout out to some of those brave warriors. Of course, my wife, Dr. Naomi Wolf. Um, as you know, she's been fighting everything nonstop. You can find her at Naomi R. Wolf on X, and then, of course, at dailyclout.io. Want to give a shout out to, um, I'm sorry, Moms for Liberty, and Tiffany Justice and Moms for Liberty. Amazing, amazing people. I remember Tiffany did she did an interview with Naomi long ago, and she was just getting Moms for Liberty started. But here's a mom who saw something horrible happening to her son getting othered when he's just trying to get to school. So, that's what happened. And she started Moms for Liberty. Now they have chapters in almost every state, and they take over school boards. She's not trying to figure out, what Bill Gates is funding. She's not trying to figure out who caused the pandemic. No, you know what they're doing? They're fighting battles, one battle at a time, and they're doing that by taking over school boards. It's amazing, and taking them over legally. Okay, it's an amazing, amazing group. So shout out to Tiffany Justice and the Moms for Liberty. Shout out to Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. Wow. Wow. I mean, I think the only one who's ever taken a worse pummeling and still gets up and keeps going. And actually, he didn't get up. Was Braveheart. I mean, Donald Trump. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anyone take this much attacks and onslaught, and he just keeps going. It's amazing. I had the pleasure of seeing him down at CPAC, seeing him speak again. Excellent. I got to see him at Bedminster. Um, I mean, even if I didn't support Donald Trump, I would vote for this man in a heartbeat because, man, this guy's unstoppable. I'm so proud to have him elected for a third time. And so that's it. I'm rambling. Anyways, stay frosty. Don't get down. Remember, the worse the news is coming from the bad guys, the better it is for us, and you can put your money on it. So, and look, but you have to keep fighting and don't wait for someone to come fight for you because this is an unrestricted invasion and no one can sit this one out. It's going to reach us. If it hasn't already, it's going to reach us all. So decide what you want to do and do it. This is Brian O'Shea, JJ Carrell for Unrestricted Invasion. Thank you for joining us.